event.
Well, the team time trial needs to be one where you make no mistakes and you also have just a little bit of luck. It's a race of precision, and they're going to be going full gas from very, very pedal stroke number one. And remember, this race last year was only second separating the top teams.
There is the boss, Lance Armstrong, who figures to be the center of attention no matter what he does all week long. And his Astana team on the stage, Levi Leipheimer there in the shades. Many expect him to lead this team and perhaps win the Giro at the end of the 3 weeks. As we now take a look at the entire Astana roster, Lance Armstrong has been tabbed as the leader according to the start list itself. 9 riders per team here at the Giro and 22 teams taking the start here today in Venice.
Yeah, they put Lance in there as 21, and usually the rider that ends in 1 is the team leader, but it's actually, we already know Levi Leipheimer is going to be their man. Lance has already tipped his hat. He said, look, I know I don't have the form. Not only was I trying to do this coming off of 3 years of not racing, but I also broke my collarbone. Levi's been flying. They just were in New Mexico winning a race together there. It's going to be Levi here.
Well, the first team to roll down the start ramp in this TTT will be the Columbia High Road team, and they will set the official time as the first team to go. There will be 5-minute intervals between teams here today, and the start order determined by a lottery. There's no specific hierarchy here at the beginning of this race, so Columbia drew the starting spot number 1, and off they go. The Giro d'Italia underway, the 100th anniversary edition, the 92nd race overall, and now Columbia High Road out on the road as Mark Cavendish is their sprinter. He'll be one of the main focuses of this team all through the 3 weeks of racing.
And you saw them as they started there, one rider just dangling off the back just a little bit, must have had a little bit of a problem there getting his foot in the pedal. That looked like it may have been Michael Rogers, the 3-time world champion on that squad. But they should get things together very quickly, not lose any control here at the beginning, get into their formation, and just get into that groove. That's what it's all about here today.
Let's talk about the bicycles that these guys are riding here today for this team time trial. Different sorts of machines than the ones we'll see throughout some of the other point-to-point stages.
Well, yeah, these time trial rigs are much twitchier. They are, you can see their handlebars very different than a regular road rig. Even in this team time trial position, they're still out there in the aero bars in the middle, meaning they have no brake levers where their hands are. So it's very tricky, as you can imagine. They've got the wings out there with the brake levers for the corners, but they're saving all the energy they can from the very beginning by getting as narrow as possible.
Now you see some riders in different colored jerseys and kits out there. That's because you have national time trial champions riding, and they are allowed to wear the jerseys and the colors of their team's national time trial champion in the specific disciplines. So a time trial champion in a team time trial or individual time trial can wear that special kit. Can't do it on a road stage, but they can do it here today.
Yeah, we're going to see a lot of special jerseys here today, and typically when you see these special jerseys, those are the teams that have a good shot at doing well. And if you look over the overhead there, the man in front is Löfqvist. He's a time trial champion of Sweden. Pinotti, also of Italy. And the third man on that squad is Mick Rogers, the Australian national champion. They have a lot of TT talent in this team.
Already seen guys taking a pull, pulling off to the side, getting towards the back of the line, and the rotation continuing. Let's talk a little bit here about the strategy and the fluid nature of a team time trial.
Well, what they've done this morning is they've already gone out and they've ridden this course a couple of times, even at almost race speed one time, to really get a feel for these turns. They know that they have to use the apex of the corner on every one of these turns, so they'll be going from wide right into the middle and then back to wide to carry every teeny bit of speed they can through the corner. And then once again, the guys on the front, they take a nice short pull, they go way up into their red zone, they swing off. When they get on the back, it's tough to get on the back, but then you've got a lot of time to rest because you've got 8 teammates that are going to be pulling through.
And there's also a strategy, too. It's how you roll down the start ramp. This is the first team out on the course, and these teams will have decided who's going to be the man to lead. What's the formation going to be? There are certain tactics that go into that thinking.
Well, right. What they're going to do in advance is they're going to decide their exact formation, who's going to follow who. For whatever reason that is, it may be that they have one rider who is a little bit weaker and they're going to put him behind somebody else where he can get a bigger draft, for instance, so that it can even that out. Or just the way guys go through the turns, or who's comfortable riding behind who. They get all that sorted out in advance, so when it comes time for race day, they have the game going.
Columbia High Road was third in last year's team time trial that kicked off the Giro d'Italia in 2008, but they only lost by 7 seconds to the winning team, the Garmin Slipstream team, and they're coming off a win in the team time trial at the Tour of Romandy just 1 week ago. They're the first team on the course on day number 1 of 21 here in the 100th anniversary of the Giro d'Italia.
Hi, I'm Jillian. Ever since losing 41 pounds on Nutrisystem, I'm back in the game. Look alive, Golic.
Hey, get back in the game.
I'm Mike Golick, and I lost 51 pounds on Nutrisystem.
If a big old defensive lineman like me can lose weight, so can you.
Get results with Nutrisystem for Men, the easy weight loss program that lets you eat great and lose weight.
Nutrisystem helped these guys get trim, healthy, and back in the game, and they look better than ever.
Hey, I lost 22 pounds.
Jim Stuckey, 60 pounds.
Call or go online now to get your first 4 weeks of awesome food. And through this special offer, you can get an extra 3 weeks of meals free.
No counting, no measuring, no weighing in. What guy has patience for that?
It's easy.
Nutrisystem Advanced, the all-new program that lets you eat carbs, is heart healthy, and even helps you fight hunger.
Big taste, bold flavors, hearty meals.
Pizza, pasta, burgers, hot roast. Real food for real guys.
Every perfectly portioned Nutrisystem meal is delivered right to your door, and your shipping is free.
Thanks to Nutrisystem for Men, these guys are definitely back in the game.
I have a new nickname, Skinny.
Hey, they call Marino skinny. This is skinny.
You want real results? Get Nutrisystem.
With Nutrisystem, you have the power to change everything. How people look at you, how you look at yourself.
About $12 a day gets you 4 full weeks of rib-sticking meals. Order our 4-week men's program now, and you can get an extra 21 breakfasts, lunches, snacks, dinners, and desserts. A full 3 weeks of food absolutely free.
Look alive, Marino.
Join my team and get back in the game.
Call now, 1-866-976-2009, and find out how you can get 3 weeks absolutely free.
We know you have enough to worry about.
Carbon footprint.
Termites, radon, rotator cuff.
But when you call Amica, you won't have to worry about auto insurance.
I know I'm covered.
A friend told me about Amica years ago. Now I tell my friends.
Switch to Amica today. We take the time to explain your options and get you the right coverage.
I talked to a lot of insurance companies.
As soon as I called, I knew I had the right people.
And if you have an accident, you'll get the service you deserve.
Amica is always there for me. They pay the claim. No hassles, no worries.
Call Amica now and see why we've been ranked highest in customer satisfaction among national auto insurers for 9 straight years.
I got enough to worry about.
Too much sodium. Shin splints.
Dude, you don't have shin splints.
Oh, I have shin splints. Get out.
Call this number now for your free no-obligation quote. Amica. It's not just how you're covered, it's how you're treated.
Early on in the team time trial on day 1 of the Giro d'Italia. This is Columbia High Road, the first team out on the course. We now also have Rabobank and Barlow World who have followed them out there. They're on course as well. Garmin Slipstream will be the next team to roll down the start ramp for this TTT. That's 20.5 kilometers in total length. That's 12.7 miles, and it's a very warm, humid spring day in Venice, about 66 degrees, and not much in this course, Todd. Only 7 turns on the entire course. It's very flat. It is a little breezy, but nothing that's really going to have a major impact on the riders.
Yeah, I mean, they're right on the beach through a lot of this course, so if the wind was bad, it would be certainly tricky in these positions on these types of bikes, and they have to be so close together. But with all the wind is very slight, so it's really just about the guys not having to deal with the conditions, but just deal with themselves and their teams and make sure that they keep it tight. I mean, they have to be very, very tight. They have to be full gas from the very beginning. And they remember, time is of the 5th rider here today, so they can lose 4 guys, but the 5th guy across the line is the time they get for their team for the day.
Columbia High Road just passed the only time check out on the course. That occurs with 8 kilometers left to go. So they are the first team through there, and 13.5 minutes into their effort today. Still have everybody all together, it looks like. And something else that brings up in terms of the 5th rider across the line taking the official time for the team, you have the issue of protected riders. There are certain riders who are the GC candidates for each team who, if they have an issue, perhaps a puncture or a mechanical, the rest of the team will stop and wait because they need to bring them up into that top 5. Other guys who may just be sprinters, not essential to the GC, if those guys get dropped, the rest of the team won't wait.
Yeah, if you are, for instance, Christian Vande Velde in the Garmin team and you have a mechanical, then the team has to wait for you.
Well, there is Christian Vande Velde, 3rd from the bottom there for the Garmin Slipstream team, led by Jonathan Vaughters. They are the defending champions of last year's team time trial that opened the Giro d'Italia, and they have made no secret of the fact that this is their primary goal for this race, to defend that team time trial win from a year ago, put one of their riders back in the Maglia Rosa again this year. They spent several days working specifically on the TTT up at their training base in Girona, Spain.
It's actually really interesting for me to look at the history of this sport and see that we have Columbia High Road based in the U.S., Garmin Slipstream based in the U.S., and we have the Astana team, though it's not based in the U.S. There are 3 top guys at this race, Armstrong, Leipheimer, and Horner. And really, coming into today, they're the teams we're thinking have the biggest chance of winning this team time trial. It's amazing to see the roots of American cycling here at the 100th anniversary of the Giro d'Italia. And certainly, Garmin wants to repeat here. They've said they're going to come into today like it's a one-day race and go full gas, try and win this thing, and then they'll pick up the chips after today, and they'll move on to the rest of the race. But they've really put that out there as their goal. And also, Mark Cavendish at Columbia High Road kind of saying, hey, I think that that's a little bit disrespectful to the event. This event's 21 days long. You got to have higher aspirations. I don't think Cav really realizes that these guys also want to win stages and they want to be in there in the GC, but the team time trial is what they're really specializing on.
Garmin Slipstream, a predominantly American team. There are 10 Americans all together in the field here at the Giro d'Italia. Only one American has ever won this race. That, of course, Andy Hampsten back in 1988. As we move back up the road, picking up Columbia High Road. And then behind them, the team of Rabobank, starting 5 minutes behind Columbia High Road here today. And then behind them, Barloworld, as we're still among the first 4 teams to take the start of 22 here on day 1.
Well, some of the things that are unique to the team time trial, we've talked a little bit about these bikes. They have the disc wheel in the back. They have a really deep dish front wheel on the front, and so that's all for aerodynamics. The position, you can see, you get a good look here at the Rabobank squad, how aerodynamic they are, but also you got to think about the danger factor in the team time trial. A lot of people think, oh, it's a team time trial, it's pretty straightforward. You're there with your teammates. These guys are absolutely pushing themselves to the rivet every single time they're on the front.
And there is Rabobank going through with the top time as the Rabobank team this year led by Denis Menchov, the Russian, who's their overall team leader and certainly a terrific Grand Tour rider as we go back and pick up the start of AG2R, 5th team out on the course here today.
And so back to really the precision of the team time trial. And we've seen dreams shattered in the team time trial. Look a few years back in the Tour de France, Dave Zabriskie in the yellow jersey in the team time trial. He crashes out just over 1 kilometer from the finish, loses the jersey to Lance Armstrong, who's riding for Discovery at the time. Things like that have happened. The other thing we saw like 20 plus years ago, the first North American in the yellow jersey in the Tour de France, Alex Stida, gets in the jersey in the morning. In the afternoon, the team time trial stage, they misjudge a corner. A bunch of their riders go down. The team ends up losing multiple minutes in the team time trial just due to technicalities. So they got to be practiced. They got to be tight. Columbia High Road is going to be one of those teams that takes care of business. They cross their T's, they dot their I's. Same thing with Garmin.
Columbia High Road will be the first team to finish here, approaching the finish now, a little more than 21 minutes into their ride here today. So they will set the time to beat in mere moments as they make one of the few turns on the course here today. And then the question always becomes, who's going to be the first rider across the line for each team? Because whatever team that wins the TTT, the first rider of that team to cross, he wears the first pink jersey.
That's absolute. And look at this. It looks like Cavendish now coming out of the fold there, and he looks like he's going to lead it across for Team Columbia High Road. The first team to finish up this stage with a fabulous time, and this team is going to set the best time that will stand for a long time here today for sure. They're very on form.
Columbia High Road, led by Mark Cavendish, crosses the finish line just inside of 22 minutes. 21:50 is the official time for the first team to cross the line. Mark Cavendish led him across as Columbia High Road sets the early standard in Venice.
A poker tournament is a mind game. It's about knowing when to change gears and sensing that sometimes you just need to get out of the way. Win one of 4 all expenses paid trips for 2 to Vegas to play poker against NHL players completely free. Only at the world's largest poker site, PokerStars.net.
What's going on, everybody? Hanging out here in the Han booth, and I want to talk to you about the Mu Uno. Now, this is their bare bones, lightweight urban cruiser bike. It's got 16-inch wheels, but it's got some really unique features as well. Say you're out there riding around that urban landscape and you come across some glass. You ride over it and get a flat tire. You've changed the tire, and now you're looking around for a gas station or a pump. Not a lot of them in downtown New York City. So what you do here is you hit this quick release mechanism, pull out the seat post, unscrew the cap like so, and it will reveal a hidden pump. You flip it open, take out this cable, attach it to the valve stem, and you can then pump your tire right back up. It's awesome. I'm really psyched about it. I love little gadgets. So then you just screw it back on like that. Make sure you get those threads in there, and then you put it right back in the seat post.
Day. Whole new half-hour version of Deal or No Deal.
I'd love you to walk out of here with $500,000. Ready to play?
Me too, yes, baby.
Here we go.
Monday. Tuesday.
No deal.
Wednesday.
Here we go. I got mojo.
Thursday.
What?
Friday. Deal or No Deal. All new 5 days a week.
Deal or No Deal. Weekdays at 6:30 on My 20.
You're in Charge's House Speaker Terrence Carroll, the incoming Senate President Brandon Schaefer wrap up the legislative session. We'll also ask your questions to celebrity chef Guy Fieri. Email us at yourshow@9news.com.
Drew Soicher. Sports that get your attention.
Back end of the Garmin Slipstream team on the road here on day 1. The team time trial to open up the 100th anniversary edition of the Giro d'Italia. This squad, the defending champions in this event from last year. They won by 6 seconds in 08 over Team CSC. They led High Road by 7 seconds across the line. Last year, the course was 23.6K. Today, it's 20.5. So, Todd, do you expect similar margins at the top of the standings?
I would expect similar margins. The last couple of years have been pretty tight like that, and it's just the way these things tend to pan out. Everybody is so focused on this first event of the race, and so yeah, they'll be nice and tight, and maximum 30 seconds separating the top 3 teams.
As a rider, how odd is it for a team like Garmin Slipstream to have your major ambition of a 3-week race to come on day number 1? Because even if they do defend and win here today, it's not like you can really go out, let loose, and celebrate. You got 3 weeks of racing staring you in the face.
Yeah, I talked with Jonathan Vaughters, the director, yesterday, and I asked him that very same question because that's sort of how it's been presented to us. It looks like Rabobank here coming into the line, but he said that is actually not their major ambition. He said that they want to win the team time trial, but they also want to win other stages. And let's just turn it here to Rabobank as they're coming in. Team Columbia there with the best time so far. Rabobank looking very, very solid as well, but they still have 1 corner to go. So they're not going to be able to unseat the top team. But yeah, that first ambition is really to win the day here and then to look for stages beyond this for the Garmin team.
Now there is that last turn, still a few hundred meters from this point to go to the finish line. Sometime with the camera angles, it's difficult to get a true sense of perspective of just how far it is to the finish line. Once they make that final right, few hundred meters, you see them coming down this final very narrow, flat straight away from the water towards the finish line, and already going well beyond Columbia High Road's time. Rabobank, the second team to cross the line, as they will now stop the clock at 22:28, almost 40 seconds back.
So Dennis Menchov there, tough deal. There he is leading them on our screen right now, and that's their GC man, and that's 38 seconds that he wished he didn't have to make up.
And now Barlow World following Rabobank out on the course. Garmin Slipstream behind them, and then AG2R, the 5th team out on the course. In case you're wondering about Lance Armstrong, Levi Leipheimer, the Astana squad will be last here today. This the Nicky Giovanni squad, should point out, as they followed AG2R. So this, in fact, the 6th team out there.
Yeah, so I'd like to go back to your question just a little bit about the Garmin goals, and I also spoke with Matt White, their road manager, a little bit about it, and I said, how is this supposed battle shaping up between Garmin and Columbia? There's a lot of talk about the feud there, and he does say, yeah, look, Columbia is our biggest competitor in the team time trial. However, tomorrow, we're not racing against anybody else except ourselves. We want to go out there and have a perfect execution, and that's all we can hope for. And we have to clear our minds. Our riders are totally focused. I couldn't even get interviews with the riders yesterday on the team because they just wanted to be away from the press and not talking with anybody. They just want to focus on the job at hand.
Looks like Danny Pate was dropping off the pace for Garmin just a moment ago, leaving them with 8 riders as Pate struggles to keep the pace, and as part of the overall equation, trying to play the numbers game to get 5 to stay together to the line. Nicky Giovanni, the team of Gilberto Simoni here. Simoni, the 2-time Giro d'Italia champion, but getting up there in age, now well into his 30s. Does he have it in him to make one more run at the pink jersey?
This is a great Italian squad, and these guys certainly going to be highly motivated here in their national tour. Simoni, I don't think he has the stuff anymore, but he will certainly be an animator, and he will certainly be a guy who goes for stages. There's Tom Danielson, one of America's favorite cyclists there on the back, as Garmin looking very solid, but it's a little tough to see that they already lost Danny Pate. That means that's one less guy to pull through. That means everybody who's left has to spend a little bit more time on the front, and that could end up costing them.
Now, Tom Danielson at one time was being called the next Lance Armstrong, the next big American hope, but that was a lot of pressure, and he admitted that mentally it was too much for him to handle at the time. Went through a very tough patch, both professionally and personally, but now this season he's put together some solid, if unspectacular, results, and we'll see what he can do here at this year's Giro d'Italia, as this opening team time trial continues on a glorious spring day in Venice on the island of Lido. It's the Columbia High Road team, the first to cross the line, that has so far set the pace and the standard to beat here today. And look at this. This squad, the Barlow World team, really has broken up here as they come towards the finish line. They're splintered all over the road.
Yeah, this is not how you do a team time trial. Remember, it's the time of the 5th rider. These guys who are off the front right now aren't even pulling their teammates to the line. they should get completely chewed out by their manager after the race, as you got to keep those first 5 guys together. If you're the strongest, you just got to spend more time pulling the weaker guys to the line.
Now, Barloworld don't have many guys for the overall general classification. They have the South African sprinter Robbie Hunter, so they'll look for stage wins for him, perhaps some individual isolated opportunities, but no big men for the GC. And look at them spread out across the road as they finally come to the finish line. Certainly the most choppy performance of any team we've seen so far.
Yeah, they've got to be very disappointed with the way that worked out for them. Losing 54 seconds, not that much off the pace, all things considered. The way they came to the line, it looked like it could have been a lot worse.
So now that leaves Garmin Slipstream as the next team that will likely cross the finish line. Again, AG2R is behind them, then Dickweed Giovanni, with all teams starting within 5 minutes of one another. And you see the riders taking the turn at the front and then pulling off, and it's part of the numbers game, trying to keep as many players together until the very end. And now Dave Zabriskie wearing the Stars and Stripes as the American National Time Trial Champion, a guy who's worn the yellow jersey at the Tour de France before. And now here's AG2R coming up to that only time check out on the course with 8 kilometers left to go. Clock ticking just beyond 14 minutes for them.
Yeah, we saw just a moment ago Zabriskie, when they're getting back on the back, very critical time to not be going too much slower than the guys on the upside of that pace line, because it's too hard to get on. And these long lenses make our AGR2 squad look a little bit, AG2R squad look a little bit disorganized, but it's just because it's a long lens. There's one guy dropping back, the rest of the guys very much in the tight line. Exactly what you'd expect to see in a team time trial.
And talking about Zabriskie like that, that's something else about the TTT, measuring your effort. As we see another rider, it looks like Cameron Meyer for Garmin now falling off the pace, but measuring your effort, making sure everybody is in sync, because you could have a rider at the front who's taking a pull, who's just so much stronger than the rest of his team. He could blow his team to pieces if he's not careful and calculates his effort. But yeah, Garmin now having some trouble, as you see 2 guys, Pate and Meyer, have dropped off the pace now.
Yeah, it's not looking so smooth for our Garmin squad. It looks like they're down to only 5 men. That means they have lost 4 of them, as Danielson getting on the back, Zabriskie right in front of them. Looks like Van de Velde is still in there. But yeah, this is not boding well for them. They wanted very much to win this event. Let's see if they can unseat Team Columbia High Road on the front. They have just under 50 seconds to do it, and they still have to make it around that corner and all the way down the last couple hundred meters to the finish.
Going to be very tough, it looks like, at this point, and no margin for error. They have the minimum 5 guys of 9 who started for this Garmin Slipstream team that has put so much focus into this TTT. One of the teams that has practiced this event over several days leading up to this race, trying to defend their victory from a year ago when their win put American Christian Van de Velde in the pink jersey. And now here they come down that final straight. Garmin Slipstream trying to somehow hang on with only 5 guys.
And they got the word in their ear from their manager that's going to be close, so they're driving very, very hard to the line. They only have 3 seconds. Can they make it 2?
No, they're going to go outside of Columbia High Road. So Garmin Slipstream will not defend their TTT win from a year ago as they cross over 6 seconds behind the Columbia High Road squad. Tough day in the saddle for the Garmin boys in Venice.
Own a timeshare? Turn it into cash.
We sold our timeshare and got this big check.
No more maintenance fees, thanks. That was easy.
When you call now, you'll find properties from the biggest names in the industry. If you want to buy, sell, or rent, call now.
With billions of dollars sold, now could be the best time to sell.
With the cash we got from selling our timeshare, we paid off our credit card.
No more maintenance fees, no more credit card debt.
Call now and get your free information kit with our Insider's Guide to Buying, Selling, and Renting Timeshares. Plus, receive a free $100 gift card.
With thousands of satisfied customers, we're the largest timeshare resale marketplace in the world. Call us today. You'll thank us tomorrow.
We bought our timeshare and we got exactly what we wanted.
Thank you. You're the best.
Call now and get your free information kit and free $100 gift card. Turn your timeshare into cash and never pay another mortgage payment, maintenance fee, or tax bill again. Don't wait. Call now.
Call 1-800-919-4859 for your free information kit and $100 free gift card. 1-800-919-4859.
Joined the National Guard and never thought I'd be saving lives.
It's more than money for college. It's built my character and given me a sense of accomplishment. Now I'm on a career path, and I'm the leader of my team.
I put on the uniform, and I have a whole new outlook on life. Country, community, family. That's what matters most to me. If that matters to you, go to 1-800-GOGUARD.com.
Get up and get groovy. Kid, what's up with you? Let's get up and play. Do something. Stop slumping like a lump all day. Get on up, come on. Get out the door. Let's shake that booty like never before. Let's run, have fun. Let's jump and groove. Get up and get that body up. Make it move. Get up, get up, get up and be a player. Get up, get up, get up. Woo. Let's run, have fun. Get up and be a player. Get up and play an hour a day. Ouch! Sorry. For cool playtime ideas, go online. Just don't stay long.
Lance Armstrong warming up near the team bus on the trainer, and I tell you what, nobody draws a crowd to watch him ride a stationary bike like Lance Armstrong. Talking with team director Johan Brunel there, Lance in the middle. Astana will be last out on the road here today, but currently out there it's Diqui Giovanni. They are the 6th team on the road. Currently, this race being led by Columbia High Road. And Mark Cavendish, their top sprinter, was the first man across for them. So he's the virtual leader of the race at this point. If Columbia High Road were to stay in the lead throughout the entire day of time trial competition here, Diqui Giovanni with the hopes of Gilberto Simoni in the peloton with them here today. And trying to put together a good effort. They're coming up on 13 minutes into their ride here today.
Well, and really Columbia's objective today was to win this race, but if they didn't win it, they wanted to be very close because there are time bonuses tomorrow at the finish line, 20, 12, and 8 seconds, and the intermediate sprints of 6, 4, and 2. And Cavendish has to be the favorite to win that stage. So it's going to be, looks like a good setup for Cavendish at this point. And we knew that Garmin was going to have a good ride. If they didn't unseat Columbia, it's definitely 2 fast teams out there who have already finished and Columbia on top.
Now, Diqui Giovanni now coming up to the only time check out on the course with just about 8 kilometers left to ride. Garmin Slipstream had the best time through there. They, of course, lost a lot in the second half of the course, got down to only 5 riders. Certainly a surprising result for them as they came in to try and defend their win from last year. And now Diqui Giovanni slipping down the standings as well here. And still in the first half of this race here today, Diqui Giovanni, 6th team out on the road. We have 22 teams all together riding on day 1.
Diqui Giovanni, a solid team, as we've talked about the fact that Simoni, a multi-time Giro winner, the leader of that team. But this team time trial for them is a race where they want to just limit their losses and they want to look for these mountain days coming up, day 4, day 5.
And Diqui Giovanni goes through 4th, 32 seconds behind. Barlow World, the team underneath them on that graphic, they are sitting in 3rd right now. And that's through the checkpoint. Of course, Rabobank sitting 3rd at the finish right now with a time of 22:28 as AG2R will be the next team up to the line, approaching 22.5 minutes and looking pretty fluid here.
Looking pretty fluid, still got a number of guys, but they're down to 4th at this point outside of the top 4, and they still got a ways to go. So you know, they don't look like they're going all that fast or all that hard, but when you are inside one of these bodies coming into these final kilometers, you're absolutely on the rivet. Every single time you get to the front, you're going flat out, and then it's all you can do to get back into that group when they come through.
So AG2R over 23 minutes in now, but so far the big story is the fact that Columbia High Road, the team that went out first, is leading. Garmin Slipstream finished with only 5 riders. They're just a few seconds back, and now AG2R about to cross the finish line. And they'll be well off the pace here on day 1 of the Giro d'Italia. Time taken on the 5th rider across for each team, and 1:35 back.
Yeah, and really the Garmin guys, I'm quite surprised also to see that they only finished with 5. I mean, it's okay to finish with 5, but to see Danny Pate getting dropped fairly early and not able to contribute as much as I would have expected him to, there are so many good time trialists on that squad. I wonder if the pressure somehow maybe had a little bit of a negative impact on them mentally, and that cracked them a little bit physically.
The Bbox Bouygues Telecom team coming up to the checkpoint with 8K left to go now, just about 14 minutes in. And Barlow World again, the team with the third best time through there. Dickwe Giovanni fourth. But going back to Garmin, what do you attribute the performance here today to? They spent a lot of time on the preparation. Do you think maybe too much pressure?
I'm wondering. I mean, they did have a team camp in Girona for several days, just like they did last year, to prepare for it. When I spoke with Jonathan Vaughters yesterday, I said, Jonathan, have you guys seen the course? How many times have the riders ridden it? He said they hadn't seen the course yet, but that it was a straightforward course. It's not as technical as last year, so they were just going to come out, warm up on it today, do at least one circuit, almost at full throttle race pace, just to make sure they had it dialed. You know, it's possible that it really was just a psychological thing where all the pressure that was riding on them to try and repeat took its toll.
Dickwe Giovanni now closing in on 21 minutes in. Now some other teams have come here and ridden this course prior to the start of the Giro multiple times. A team like Liquigas has come here and really scouted this course. How much does advanced knowledge on this particular track today going to make a big difference in your mind?
I think it's critical. I think that maybe Vaughters will reconsider the plan next year and come see the team time trial course a little further in advance. I mean, it's tough for them to juggle because they got riders racing all over the world, and they're all at different races, and they have a different roster at each event they do. So how do you get all the guys together early and in Italy and checking it out? So it's a real challenge for them logistically. They race so many days out of the year, but team time trial and an individual time trial, but team time trial maybe even more. You have to know that course. You gotta know exactly how fast you can go through those corners, because if you hesitate a little bit on the front and you lose half a second on one corner and a half a second on another, well, that adds up pretty quickly.
And now Dickwe Giovanni just inside of 22 minutes. Garmin Slipstream, the second team in the standings right now. Rabobank third at the finish. Where will this team of two-time Giro winner Gilberto Simoni come in now? Yeah, looking for a top three perhaps here. Yeah, they can really dig, but tough going for them.
Yeah, it looks like some tough sledding for these guys. They still have to go around that final corner, so they're going to be out of it for sure. They never expected to be on the podium here, but they do want to limit their losses as they go through that final turn. A couple 250 meters or so to go now, as they're all still pretty together. So looking good as a team, but still going significantly slower than our top contenders today.
Well, to give you some perspective, they were the sixth team out on the course here today, and now they're going to go outside the top four. So maybe not the performance they had hoped for here as they hit the finish line, and we'll stop the clock at 22:56. It looks like a minute 6 back of our leading team, Columbia High Road. Now, in terms of where this particular race today fits into the overall picture, as we now go back towards the start, and
Quick Step,
we'll pick up the start of Quick Step now. It's going to be interesting how today's race sort of fits into the mosaic of the entire race. We'll talk about that more as the day unfolds here. Quick Step is out on the course now. There is Ivan Basso back after a 2-year suspension, riding for the Liquigas team. He is one of the favorites for the overall. His Liquigas team will go next when we bring you back on Universal Sports.
Hi, I'm Jillian. Ever since losing 41 pounds on Nutrisystem, I'm back in the game. Look alive, Golic.
Hey, get back in the game. I'm Mike Golick, and I lost 51 pounds on Nutrisystem. If a big old defensive lineman like me can lose weight, so can you.
Get results with Nutrisystem for Men, the easy weight loss program that lets you eat great and lose weight.
Nutrisystem helped these guys get trim, healthy, and back in the game, and they look better than ever.
Hey, I lost 22 pounds.
Jim Stuckey, 60 pounds.
Call or go online now to get your first 4 weeks of awesome food. And through this special offer, you can get an extra 3 weeks of meals free.
No counting, no measuring, no weighing in. What guy has patience for that?
It's easy.
Nutrisystem Advanced, the all-new program that lets you eat carbs, is heart healthy, and even helps you fight hunger.
Big taste, bold flavors, hearty meals.
Pizza, pasta, burgers, hot roast. Real food for real guys.
Every perfectly portioned Nutrisystem meal is delivered right to your door and your shipping is free.
Thanks to Nutrisystem for Men, these guys are definitely back in the game.
I have a new nickname, Skinny.
Hey, they call Merino skinny. This is skinny.
You want real results? Get Nutrisystem.
With Nutrisystem, you have the power to change everything. How people look at you, how you look at yourself.
About $12 a day gets you 4 full weeks of rib-sticking meals. Order our 4-week men's program now, and you can get an extra 21 breakfasts, lunches, snacks, dinners, and desserts. A full 3 weeks of food absolutely free.
Look alive, Marino.
Join my team and get back in the game.
Call now, 1-866-976-2009, and find out how you can get 3 weeks absolutely free.
Bankruptcy still works. Charge your debt legally. Fast filing and payment plans.
Andy Cameron can help you.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.
Bankruptcy still works. Save your house, stop garnishments, eliminate second deeds of trust.
Andy Cameron can help you.
As we bring you back, Silence Lotto going through the time check. 7th best time, 41 seconds back of our leading squad right now, which still is Team Columbia High Road. First team down the start ramp today, still sitting in first place at the finish here as we move on, getting deeper into today's race, and the Liquigas team will be next to start. They are the 12th team on the day, and again we have 22 overall. There is the Liquigas squad that is led by Ivan Basso, the Italian, coming back to the race that he won for the first time since winning in 2006. Take a look now at the Liquigas roster, and it's an interesting composition of riders. Of course, you have Basso, the undisputed team leader, but look down at number 115, Franco Pelazzotti. The Italian was 4th overall in this race a year ago without Basso.
Well, last year, because Basso wasn't in the race, the team leadership fell on the shoulders of Pelazzotti, and that was his year. If he was ever going to make a stamp that he could be the leader of this team, that had to be the year. We know that Contador ended up winning it, so now Pelazzotti is back to super domestique duties for Basso this year, most likely.
Well, for Ivan Basso, this Giro has been his sole focus for his preparation and everything that he is placing the goals of his season on. He's number 111, and he's had some good results so far this year. In fact, he won the Giro del Trentino, and in that race he beat other rivals who are here at the Giro, including Yanni Brockovich, Stefano Garzelli, Gilberto Simoni, and Danilo De Luca. They were also at the Trentino race. Basso won, so that has to give him confidence coming to the season's first Grand Tour.
I think Basso's performance at Trentino told a lot of people, wake up, the warning shot has been fired. This man is performing his peak to perfection. We saw him earlier in the year at the Tour of California, nowhere on the radar. He's been getting slowly better, and he seems to be in peak condition to win this year's race.
How about this Liquigas squad looking pretty good here? Their chances in this team time trial today to set up Basso.
Well, a couple years ago, this team did win the race in 2007, and Danilo De Luca ended up winning the race overall for this team 21 days later. So they've shown that they can do it, but that year the team time trial course was a bit hillier. Today, completely flat. It's not as much of a favorite type of race for them, the team time trial, especially a flat one. So I would expect them to be looking for a top 5 would be a great ride for them.
Now this is one of the pro-continental Italian teams Coming to the finish now, the Galizia squad, and they'll go well outside of the top 5 here. The organizers, as is their right, can invite some teams from within the Italian borders to give them a shot, show what they can do on a big stage in their home race.
It's a mighty big stage. This 100th year, I've talked with several people around, and everybody's just so excited about all the buzz going on about this race. Everybody in Italy, I mean, we're just absolutely thrilled to have such an incredible field here for the 100th anniversary of this race.
Now, it's interesting. They say that cycling doesn't get a lot of attention throughout the rest of the year in Italy, but when the Giro comes around every May, it becomes the sole focus of the sporting landscape. And now Acqua e Sapone now going through the first and only time check out on the course, and the place is slipping away. And there you see Barloworld still with the 3rd best time there, just inside of 14 minutes through.
Well, in Acqua and Sapone, the team of Garzelli, and Garzelli winning this race back several years ago in the year 2000, and last year the Giro organizers left his team out of the race. Kind of a little bit of a weird move. It was a little, there were some grumblings, let's just say. Well, they're back this year. Garzelli won 2 stages in 2007. They didn't get the invite back last year, but this year they're back, and they're here to redeem themselves.
And Garzelli wearing bib number 1. Traditionally, that would go to the defending champion, but Alberto Contador is not here this year, concentrating on the Tour de France. As you look at Mark Cavendish of Columbia High Road, watching the race on the TV, his squad still the leader of this particular race, and if they should end it that way, Cavendish would get the first pink jersey of this year's Giro d'Italia. Now back with the team of Ivan Basso, the Liquigas squad, looking pretty smooth out there on the road right now.
They certainly are. You see this one rider here on the back just letting another one slip in front of him. So that's because he's just not feeling like he's got quite the legs. He says, I'm going to sit out a pole. They're all talking with each other on their team radios, as well as their director back in the car, reminding them of things on the course so that they know exactly how hot to take every turn. They know where to position themselves. Every minute detail makes a difference, and Liquigas looking very solid right now.
In your experience as a rider, how often is it a case where you have strong individual riders that equate to a good time trial performance, and how often is it the case where just the whole is greater than the sum of the parts?
The team time trial is exactly that. The stress is on the team, and one really strong rider can tear a solid team apart just by not being steady. So these guys have to keep they got to keep a lid on it just that little bit. Yes, they're going extremely hard. When they're sitting in, they're almost on the limit. When they're on the front, they're completely on the limit, and they have that time to recover. But any surges or just abnormal behavior make it so tough on the rest of the team that you have to work as a good unit in the team time trial.
Now the Silence Lotto boys coming up towards the finish now. And the next time on the clock, the Rabobank squad sitting in 3rd position right now, but Silence Lotto is going to go outside of that. Still a ways to go to the finish line for this team here.
Yeah, and Silence Lotto, some people really complained that their leader last year at the Tour de France lost the race, Cadel Evans, because they didn't put any stake into preparing for the time trials. So I don't expect the Silence Lotto team to do a great team time trial. It's a very tough technical effort. And if you're not really putting effort into making sure the guys are clicking, you can't put in a good ride.
It was also the case last year at the Tour that the Schleck brothers worked over Evans on Alpe d'Huez pretty good too. That might have had something to do with it.
That's true.
So
but he was not time trialing at his normal rate, and that makes a big difference.
Silence Lotto now coming in, and they'll get 8th place at 23:12, 122 behind, so seeing some pretty significant gaps right now. The leading team, still the first one to go on the road today, Columbia High Road, sitting in 1st.
Hi, I'm John Scher, CEO and founder of Video Professor. I'm the guy that gives away the free computer learning lessons. Well, today I'm here to tell you about a great new product that many of you have been asking for. And here it is, how to buy and sell on eBay, and I'll give it to you free. Now, I'm not going to tell you that I can make you the next millionaire selling an attic full of baseball cards, but I can guarantee you that I'll teach you everything you need to know about eBay while cleaning out your garage and probably putting some money in your pocket at the same time. Now, I can do this because I know that once you try my lesson on eBay, you'll be so satisfied that the next time you need to learn anything about computers, you'll come back to Video Professor for all your computer learning needs. And with over 55 lessons on all of today's most popular computer programs, I know that there's more you'll want to learn. Call now and I'll send you eBay or any other lesson of your choice free. So what do you got to lose? Try my product.
Call 1-800-771-8343. That's 1-800-771-8343.
Follow Lance Armstrong every day on the Giro d'Italia. Only on Universal Sports. We believe in cycling.
Michael Phelps is up to the challenge now. What a crowd starting to feel it. Is he going to have enough? 8 meters left. And here he comes. He's going to be very close.
There's a magic place. A place where the West lives. I have seen it. Its spirit lives here, and I hope it never goes away.
Visit roadtripwyoming.com for your free vacation guide. Wyoming, forever West.
Why not?
I think so.
I want you
How's everybody doing tonight?
Hello.
Chrissy, hey.
Hey, Alex.
How are you?
Alex? Alex?
Oh.
Hello. I'm Mrs. Garcia. We've heard a lot about you.
He is cute. Stop.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who would love to put up with you.
Earlier we saw Lance Armstrong of the Astana team warming up. Now Levi Leipheimer and Chris Horner. Leipheimer is the one on the right side of your screen, and Horner is the one on the left. Two of the most aerodynamic heads in the sport, you would have to say. And Leipheimer is the leader of this Astana team coming into the race. Lance said he's riding for Levi because he's, simply put, the strongest guy on the team at the moment. Now, Acqua and Saponi out there, coming up on 21 minutes in. Mentioned before, Stefano Garzelli of this team, the 2000 Giro d'Italia winner, wearing bib number 1. That would normally go to Alberto Contador as the defending champion. Contador not here. Garzelli gets number 1 because he is the oldest active Giro winner in the field. So he gets the distinction of wearing bib 1 here in this race.
And Acqua and Saponi very disappointed they weren't here last year, so they really will be looking to mix things up and be an aggressive squad. Garzelli was present at a lot of the pre-race press conferences. He's one of the people that the organization has featured, so he's here to show that he has the muscle, even though he won it 9 years ago.
Now there's a lot of time trialing of this year's Giro d'Italia. Later on stage 12, we'll have an individual time trial of over 60 kilometers. It's the longest TT in the Giro in 13 years. So time trialing, both team and individual, going to be a huge part of a rider's success here at this year's event. What are the differences in terms of strategy, technique in the TTT versus the individual?
Let's take the TTT first. And basically here, the speed is going to be higher because you have that rest. So you're only on the front for a little while. So it's more of a non-steady state effort in the team time trial. Whereas the individual time trial, you have to get in that groove, you have to get right to that sustainable level, and you have to hold it there. In the team time trial, you got to go well above your sustainable level, and then once you get off the front, you have to get your recovery in. The other major difference, though, is that your teammates will push you so hard in a team time trial because you don't want to let them down. So it's very, very common that guys will ride themselves completely into the ground in a team time trial to the point where they can barely get off that machine at the end of the day.
Acqua and Saponi now. digging for the finish, and looks like they're going to go outside of the top 5. And this is getting interesting. This is the 10th team to start here today of 22, and we'll see exactly where they cross over as the places continue to fall by the boards here. And with Columbia High Road still hanging on to the top time, the last several teams we've seen come across have been outside of a minute back. Aqua and Sapone 121 back, so still with several good teams out there. What are the chances in your mind of Columbia High Road hanging on here?
Well, I think that Astana is one team that is going to try to unseat them and has a potential, although I'm not sure they have quite the horsepower that Columbia does in this particular type of event. The other team you have to look at is Saxo Bank, as they were second in this event last year, 6 seconds behind Slipstream. We saw Slipstream fall to Columbia High Road. So obviously Columbia High Road had a great ride, but I'd say those are probably the two most likely teams to topple the top of the leaderboard.
And Liquigas now at the only checkpoint on the course, and 16 seconds back there. So Garmin Slipstream still with the best time, although we know that they lost a lot on the second half of the course. And Liquigas trying to set things up today for their leader, Ivan Basso, who could make a statement as early as the first week, because we go into the Dolomite Mountains after only 3 days of racing. Very unlike Giros and Grand Tours of past, a very non-traditional route this year. You don't have the flat stages for the sprinters that get you into the rhythm of the race. You start climbing pretty much out of the chute.
Yeah, day number 5 has about 25 kilometers brutally uphill at the end, and I think there's going to be a ton of fireworks in that stage, and it's really going to start to set the tone. And we've also heard a lot that DeLuca's LPR team is really going to actually try to put the hurt on Armstrong and see if he actually has what it takes to be a major player in this race and to be there to support Levi in the mountains. And they say they're going on the attack as soon as the tarmac starts going uphill. So I think we're going to see a ton of fireworks here, stage 4 and 5. And that's really what we normally see much later in one of these events. It could be the last week of a Grand Tour, not the first week.
Now this is the Quick Step team now. They'll be the next to finish. Now Quick Step, again, one of those teams, more a sprinters team in terms of Alan Davis. He'll be looking for opportunities in the sprint stages, and there's not a lot of them at this year's Giro. Many are saying there's just about 6 true sprinter stages. They'll have a couple of opportunities after this team time trial today, but not a lot of chance for the fast men at this year's Giro d'Italia.
Yeah, and Alan Davis winning the Tour Down Under for Quick Step at the beginning of the year, where Lance made his comeback to professional road cycling. And he'll be looking for a stage win here or there, but this team really such an incredible one-day team, an incredible classics teams, which they really dominated the classics this year. But a Grand Tour, that's a little bit out of their reach for the overall type of contention.
Now finish with just about 6 guys. Again, some of these teams that have been coming in later, not finishing with the full complement of 9 riders that they started with, but you'd have to expect that. And now this is the Liquigas team, and the view from the back, and it looks like a rider slipping off the pace here for the Liquigas squad as well.
Well, and you know, that's okay. They still have a bunch of riders in front of him, so it's not like they're down to 6 or 5 guys, in which case then it could be really bad losing one guy. It's not that big a deal. He still has to keep it going, because anytime he loses to his team here, he loses in the overall classification. You could see another rider just sitting up. He just took a big tug on the front and just pulls the pin, and that looks like one of the Croatian riders there. So these guys know what their job is. They've been communicating, and they said, I'm gonna do this big pull while I still can contribute something to the effort, and then I'm going to get out of the way.
Yeah, none of the marquee names on the Liquigas team falling off the tempo here. Basso's still there, Franco Pelizzotti, Emanuele Quinziato. They are all still in the fold and forming this pace line, and it's really a spectacle when you can see a team time trial in person. The fluidity, the rhythm, the proportion, the symmetry, it really is amazing to watch.
It's just an incredible event. I think it's a real shame that they no longer have the team time trial in the Olympics or the World Championships, as it went away. But it's a very unique road discipline, and it kind of brings some elements of track racing and road racing and puts them together.
Well, now Liquid Gas going to be coming up towards the finish here. Again, the best time set by Columbia High Road, 21:50. Liquid Gas will obviously go outside of that. So how much time will Basso lose right now? But the good thing is, if things were to stay this way, it would be Mark Cavendish leading the overall GC, and we know he's not going to win the Giro d'Italia. He's a classic sprinter, so Basso will be unconcerned about that, but you don't want to drop too much time on the opening day. Rabobank 22:28 the next time that these Liquid Gas boys have in their sights.
So a solid ride here as they're coming in towards the end of this race. A good ride from Liquid Gas, and that's exactly what they want. They just want to limit their losses, try and get inside the top 5. We'll see if that holds all the way to the finish, but it's a solid ride from them.
Liquid Gas finishing with 6 guys in 4th place. 22:30 their time, 40 seconds off the pace of Columbia High Road for the team of Ivan Basso, the 2006 Giro champion.
Every 60 seconds, someone, somewhere is making the switch to Tempur-Pedic. Now it's your turn. Call now for your free information kit, including a Tempur material sample, along with a DVD and catalog. Traditional mattresses use metal springs that can cause pressure points, causing you to toss and turn. Only the Tempur-Pedic mattress automatically adjusts to your body while keeping your spine in perfect alignment. Plus, because Tempur-Pedic doesn't transfer motion, you won't disturb your partner when you get out of bed or shift positions. Best of all, Tempur-Pedic will let you sleep on one of their sleep systems for an incredible 90 nights before you make your purchase decision. If you want the ultimate in comfort, if you wish to get more sleep but can't, it's time you make the switch to Tempur-Pedic.
Call 1-800-603-9885 for your free information kit. That's 1-800-603-9885. Call today.
Nike has a rich history in running, and today that legacy continues. Bill Bowerman was one of the co-founders of Nike, and he's also Steve Prefontaine's coach. And as a coach, he liked to make each and every one of his athletes' shoes by hand. Today, his legacy continues with the Bowerman series. And these shoes are only made in 2 factories worldwide. So what that gives you, the runner, is a very impeccable amount of quality control. Each one of their shoes in this series, that's 8, is done with minimal changes throughout the year. So this way, from the upper to the bottom, doesn't matter. You're getting the same shoe when you get out there and purchase the next one. And also, they're gender specific. So whether or not you're a guy or a gal, it doesn't matter. They figured out your anatomy, and they've got you covered.
For more information on this or any gear guide, go to universalsports.com/gear.
You're covered from start.
It's a 2-door coupe with a really
Big scratch across the back door. When can you get someone to
save me some money? I just got my bill from my insurance company, and it may be time for a change.
It all begins with a personalized insurance assessment where we take the time to understand you and then help you understand your options.
Sure, it's got anti-lock brakes and airbags, but I feel safe knowing I've got the right coverage too.
Of course, the true measure of an insurance company is how you're treated if you have an accident. Amica is there for you 24/7. No wonder Business Week recognized us yet again for our customer service.
They went all out to settle my claim. I had no idea it would be so easy.
Call Amica now. Good drivers could save hundreds.
Saving money's nice. Great service is nicer. With Amica, I get both.
Call Amica today because
it's not just how you're covered.
It's
how you're treated.
About an hour into stage 1 of the 100th anniversary Giro d'Italia, the team time trial on the Lido barrier island in Venice, Italy. You're looking down at Team Saxo Bank, just about 12 minutes into their effort here today. Steve Schlanger alongside Todd Gogulski. Great to have you with us for the centennial edition of the Giro, and for the first time ever on Universal Sports. And get comfy, folks. We've got 3 weeks of compelling racing coming your way, featuring Lance Armstrong, so many marquee names, a high-profile event to kick off the Grand Tour season. As you look at the back of the Cervelo test team, and The Saxo Bank team that we just saw a moment ago, a very interesting squad because they include Fabian Cancellara, as good of a time trial rider as you will find. He won the gold medal in the individual TT at the Beijing Olympic Games. He's a 2-time world champion in the time trial, so they're certainly a team to keep an eye on. We'll go back to them in a moment, but now going towards the finish with Fuji Cerveto, the next team who will cross over. And they're going to go outside the top 5. That's the place currently being held down by the Barlow World squad.
Now, Fuji Cerveto, another one of those squads, really here looking for no team time trial. Great result. They're looking here to limit their losses. They're going to be looking to do things in the individual stages later on. But the team time trial is, in essence, a specialist event. And we know that only certain teams really have the ability to do well in this race. 2 of them are on the top of the results right now, and there's a few more out there that still may upset that a little bit, but Fuji Cerveto, not one of those players we expected to be in the top 5 here today.
Some of the riders on this team will be trying to look to get into breaks as the race unfolds here this year, and they will officially cross over. 137 back, so 13th place for the team that started 13th on the day. So not a terrific ride from them. Saxo Bank, the next team out there. And then Team Katusha still to go. We'll see Milram, Lampre, Case de Parne, LPR Brakes, and Astana, the 22nd and final team on the road in Venice today.
And this is our Cervelo test team, and another great squad out on the course. And actually somebody I haven't yet mentioned today. These guys, dark horse chance for a top 5. I don't think they're going to really contest for the podium here today, but it's a solid squad, and they've had an incredible first year, and that type of momentum really helps the riders to, if you believe you can do it, you can do a lot more. Mentally, that's very beneficial for this squad. You can see them all still here together early in this ride, actually late in this ride, 20 minutes, 21 minutes into it, so they're coming down to their final few minutes here. And it does not look like by where they're on the course, they're going to be able to upset our top spot. But let's see when they get a little closer.
And this is the team of our defending Tour de France champion, Carlos Sastre, who's the leader of the Cervelo test team here at the Giro. But the Giro d'Italia has never been one of his primary focuses. He did win a stage back in 2006, but he's always been a rider who's focused more on the Tour and his home race, the Vuelta, later on in the season. And as is his tradition, he started this year very quiet, building up his results, not spending too much time in the spotlight. Rode a respectable Tour of the Basque Country not too long ago, and we'll see what he can do. He says he's trying for a podium at this year's Giro before beginning defense of his Tour de France title in July. We'll see what his team can help him accomplish as they get set to come up to the finish here. Garmin Slipstream still sitting in 2nd spot, just a few seconds off the top time that still belongs to Columbia High Road.
Yeah, well, if he's going to be getting a Tour podium here in 21 days from now, then every one of these seconds they're losing is going to cost him, because he's going to have to make that up, and he's not going to make it up in the individual time trials. That means he's really going to have to outclimb people in the mountains. We've seen that he's been able to do that in the past, however. So a solid ride from Cervelo test team as they drive to the line here, but they're not going to be inside the top 3, it doesn't look like.
Liquid gas. Stop the clock at 22:30. Cervelo test team going to move beyond that, and officially the 5th man to hit the finish line will stop the clock. 49 seconds back, 22:39 for the team of Carlos Sastre, and that is Mark Cavendish of Columbia High Road. He was their first rider across the line as the first team on the road, and right now, if they hold on, he stands to wear the first Maglia Rosa of this year's race. And these are the current standings. Columbia leading Garmin by 6 seconds, Rabobank some 38 seconds behind. So as Garmin came in as the defending champions, putting so much emphasis on this TTT, they were 6 seconds back, and then you see the huge gap to 3rd place. That's a good indication. Columbia High Road had a terrific ride as a unit here today.
Yeah, a fabulous day for the High Road camp. They've got to be happy with that. Certainly they still have to withstand the challenges from Astana out there, but very, very solid. Great way for them to start, and that puts Cavendish in what we call the hot seat. He's the man who is waiting to see if he's going to get it.
Katusha, Todd. Team Katusha coming up with a very good split time here. They're not going to get the best split, but it's going to be close. Now they're going to try for that second spot, and Team Katusha at 13:47, only 9 seconds back. Columbia High Road rode very well on the second half of the course. Garmin Slipstream on the other half did not. Hard to tell. That doesn't give you much of a barometer as to what Katusha might do, but that'll certainly give them a boost knowing they're within 10 seconds of the lead.
That's a great time check for Katusha. I think Rabobank started out a little bit too hard, and that's why they had the best time split at that point. They went a little too deep. They paid for it at the end, losing 38 seconds to Columbia High Road by the finish. But Katusha, right in the middle there, a few seconds down at the intermediate sprint, they may be timing it just right with their pacing efforts.
Now Columbia High Road still holding on to the best time as we go back to the start ramp. And Lampre, the next team in the pink, white, and blue to roll away. The team of Damiano Cunego, another one of the former champions, riding here at this 100th anniversary Giro d'Italia. He'll be wearing bib 101.
And Cunego, the winner in 2004, and he's really looking to get some of that stage race form back that he showed before. But I have to say, the guy should just concentrate on one-day races. He's really good at the classics. He's really good at stage victories and stage races. And he should stop beating himself up over trying to be a Grand Tour contender. He doesn't seem to have what it takes. There's nothing wrong with winning classics. A lot of guys will go through their whole career without winning the one-day races that Cunego has won, but he always puts it out there. It's his national tour. He wants to win the overall.
Now from behind, looking at the team Katusha, who's just gone through that only time check on the course with 8K left to go, 9 seconds back. And right now we'll join Lampre. Again, they just started their ride, so things getting interesting here. Still some teams to keep an eye on in the last portion of the field. Now fast forward up to the finish area. Saxo Bank will be the next across the line. And they're going to be unable to unseat the Columbia High Road squad here.
Really expected a bigger ride from them, and they still have a ways to go yet. They actually just unveiled the new Specialized X-Works TTR, where the R actually stands for Reese, as in Bjarne Reese, their manager. And the power on this team, you would expect them to be much more in it. That's Fabian Cancellara there, your Olympic time trial champion, bringing them through the final turn. But look at this, they're already down to third spot, and they're not even going to beat that because they're further away from the finish line than 7 seconds.
And it looks like they have completely been depleted here as well. They're going to finish with a minimum of only 5 riders here, as Saxo Bank, like Garmin Slipstream, will finish with only 5. That is the minimum number in order to get your official time here. And Team Saxo Bank going outside the top 5, and they'll hit the finish line and stop the clock at 22:45. That's 55 seconds off the pace. Columbia High Road, the team that was first down the start ramp this morning, they are still the leaders as we get later in the team time trial at the Giro.
Here's a special free offer for men who are losing their hair.
My hair always looks great, and I feel great.
If you want to look better, if you want to feel better about yourself, Hair Club is the way to go.
Men, you know that getting your hair back will make you look good and improve your self-confidence like no diet or exercise program. It's a proven fact that having a thicker, fuller head of hair makes you look and feel younger, healthier, and sexier. You can get your hair back just by calling Hair Club. Call now.
I'm 52, and I look better now than I did when I was in my 40s.
Becoming a member of Hair Club for Men is the best investment in my career I've ever made.
Hair Club offers all proven hair loss solutions, including surgical and non-surgical options, available through our network of physicians. With more than 500,000 success stories over the last 30 years, Hair Club can also help you get your hair back. Invest in yourself. Call now.
What separates us from all the other hair loss companies is that only Hair Club provides all the proven technologies and solutions for hair loss that are available.
The reason why I went to Hair Club was because of the great quality of work, the experience of the doctors and the medical staff, and the great patient care. They really took care of me, and the results are fantastic.
When you call right now to book your free no-obligation consultation, we'll also give you a microscopic hair and scalp analysis, a $250 value absolutely free. We'll measure the extent of your hair loss, explain what causes hair loss, and our hair loss experts will show you all the tested, proven solutions we offer.
I'm very happy that I have a full head of hair. I feel healthy and great, and it's the best decision I've ever made.
Hair Club is the only company that can offer you a customized solution based on your unique type of hair loss. Get the look you want that women love. If you want to look younger, feel better, and get a full head of hair again, call Hair Club today.
I wish I would have done this 20 years ago. It's so worth it.
Call them. Just call Hair Club. Hair Club has worked wonders for me.
Why wait? Call now for your free information kit and find out how you can get your hair back. The call is free. The information is free. The consultation is free. Why wait? Call now.
This debate in our role as, and that wide open debate is happening on our newest forum, the comment sections on 9news.com. Sometimes, though, comments can get off topic, impolite, or downright mean. With this report abuse button, you and others who agree with you have the power to remove those comments. You hold us to a high standard. That's how it should be. Now you are empowered to apply that same high standard to the online discussion, because the future is about you and 9 News working together.
Here's what's happening on momslikeme.com. Groups are bringing moms together. Moms that work, stay at home, or do just about anything. Join one or start your own. Plus, create calendars, upload photos, and do it all for free. Check it out at momslikeme.com.
Get breaking news alerts and daily news updates from 9 News. Go to 9news.com and click on the 9 News Now icon to sign up. When you want it, when you need it. 9 News. The CBA's best sportscaster.
The bobblehead guy? I can't stand him.
You are looking at the ISD team coming up to the time check. Garmin Slipstream still holding the best time at that point on the course at 13:38. So ISD, the team of leader Giovanni Visconti, the Italian, and a team with 4 Italians altogether on their 9-man roster. Now Team Katusha is still a team that's put in quite a ride so far. They're on the second half of the course now. They were only 9 seconds back at the time check here, and that's with 8 kilometers left to go. And Team Katusha could be somewhat of a surprise here, starting in the 16th spot today. And we're getting down towards the final few teams. Before we went to break, we saw Lamprey start. That leaves us with just 3 teams left to go. Case d'Epargne, LPR Brakes, and then Astana, the final team here today in this TTT.
Well, the management of that Katusha squad really has admitted that their goals are not so much to try and win the overall of the Grand Tours. They don't feel they have the depth of a stage race team to do that. Damiano Cunego there of the Lamprey squad, but Katusha really going for stage wins. But Cunego, a lot on the line here today. They had a disastrous race last year, losing about 1 minute and 43 seconds in the team time trial opening stage. They cannot do that again this year.
Now Team Katusha, the team of Filippo Pozzato, who was second to Tom Bonin at this year's Paris-Roubaix. They also have the sprinter Ben Swift, who won the points jersey at the Tour of the Basque Country this year. And now putting in a pretty good time here. Team Columbia High Road, still the best time at the finish, 21:50. But keep in mind, Katusha here, still a long way to go from that finish line itself. It's going to be very difficult for these guys at this point.
Yeah, with that intermediate sprint with them, split with them being so close, it was looking good for them. It looks like they faded just a little bit here in the end. They still got to make it around that right-hand corner as well. It doesn't look like they're going to be able to unseat Columbia High Road. Can they make it into the top 3?
Now facing a slight headwind at this point as they ride in towards the finish. Just 800 meters left to go to the line for this team that is looking to surprise some at this year's Giro d'Italia. Starting 16th on the day. Good split time. And now we'll see if they can get a top 3.
Yeah, it looks a little bit like they're off the pace for possibly maybe that top 3. Maybe they can unseat Rabobank about 38 seconds back, but certainly the top 2 spots are gone. There's Garmin Slipstream, now Rabobank, as we see they try to, remember, it's the front wheel of the 5th rider on the team. So doesn't matter who's out in front. What matters is that 5th rider to cross the line. That's the time of the team.
A lot of strong guys. We've seen several teams come across with only 5 or 6 riders. They still have 8 as they come up to the finish line right now.
They're looking very solid, I have to say, compared to some of the other teams that were really ragged here at the end. Good solid ride. Whoa, look at that. Puts them in 3rd place.
They get 3rd at 35 seconds back. Team Katusha, a terrific ride, and now Team Milram coming up to the split with 8K left to go. Milram 18th to take the start today, 5th team from the last here in this team time trial. And the place is slipping away here, and Milram going to be 7th best through that only time check out on the course.
7th best is not a very good omen for these guys, so they of course know that as they get that information from their director, and he's now got to keep them motivated so that they don't get frustrated out there putting in a poor mid-race time check, as we're coming back down to yet another team here.
Now Milram, by the way, the German team that will certainly be trying to set up their sprinter Robert Forster. Had many opportunities throughout the course of this race. Well, Astana will be the last team to go here today, and you'd have to believe that they are the only team that can really unseat Columbia High Road at this point, as Mark Cavendish's squad has put in a terrific performance, and they could end up leading wire to wire here. First team down the start ramp, still sitting in first place, as ISD will be the team in the yellow and black to come into this finish area now that's lined by a huge throng of spectators, and we'll see this everywhere the race goes in Italy over the course of the next 3 weeks. It's a 3-week festival every May in this country, and what a place to start.
And
the city of water, Venice.
Yeah, and these riders have to really trust each other in these corners. As I can tell you from personal experience, leading a team into a team time trial turn and crashing myself and everybody except for one rider on my team crashing behind me. So they are very much dependent on each other's judgment.
The Team Katusha with a time of 22:25. ISD, they will hit the line and wait for the 5th rider before the clock stops. And that puts it at 22:17, 27 seconds back, so 3rd place. Pretty good ride for the ISD squad. Well, there is Lance Armstrong about to make his return to Grand Tour racing. First time since 2005. We'll see his Astana team when we come back to the Giro d'Italia on Universal Sports.
When it comes to going bald, you now have a choice. Advances in medical science have resulted in the world's first and only permanent solution to hair loss.
It is your real hair. It's your natural hair. You wash it, you cut it, you swim with it.
Bosley is the world's most experienced hair restoration experts, having pioneered virtually every major advancement in the art and science of hair restoration.
I'm very satisfied, very happy with what I've done. This has got to be one of the best decisions I've made in my life, I'll tell you that.
Bosley Hair Restoration is a relatively simple outpatient procedure. The results look completely natural, and it's affordable on nearly any budget. Call the toll-free number now to receive your free, no-obligation information kit that will help you decide if hair restoration at Bosley is right for you. You don't have to accept going bald. Do something about it right now.
Call 1-800-986-2945. That's 1-800-986-2945. Call now.
What's going on, everybody? Hanging out here in the Han booth, and I want to talk to you about the Mu Uno. Now, this is their bare bones, lightweight urban cruiser bike. It's got 16-inch wheels, but it's got some really unique features as well. Since it's designed for the urban lifestyle, you may have a small apartment. I know I do. It's pretty brutal. So what you then do is you can keep this disengaged, push it down, lock it back up. Then you move on over here to the handlebars. Flip this quick release down, and then basically fold the handlebars right down like that. And here's the big reveal. I love this. Undo it. You're gonna wanna step around. It makes it easier for you to fold the bicycle up. And now you have a bicycle in the corner, out of the way, not hanging, not tripping over it. It's where it needs to be until the next time you gotta go ride.
I present to you Algebra 2. Foreign languages. And finally, biology. Who among you will step up to their challenge?
Me.
Take on the tough classes now. You need them to prepare for college.
For the first time ever, Lance Armstrong rides the Giro d'Italia. He's ridden the Vuelta once. Outside of that, it's been full concentration on the Tour de France, but now a race he's always coveted, and he begins with his Astana team in this team time trial. Chris Horner will lead him down the start ramp. Lance is second wheel. What is going through his mind right now?
I think he has to be saying to himself, what have I gotten myself into? After 3 years of retirement, here I am at the second biggest race in the world, never having done it at the tender young age of 37, and trying to get back that form to be one of the major players here in a 21-day race that's over 2,000 miles long.
This is back with the Lamprey team, fourth to last team on the course. After them, it was Case d'Epargne, LPR Brakes, just ahead of the Astana team, which we just saw roll down the start ramp. So getting towards the final moments of racing here on day one, the first of 21 stages at this year's Giro d'Italia. Team Columbia High Road still has the lead. This is the LPR Brake Squad just ahead of Astana by 5 minutes out on the road, and the team of the 2007 Giro winner, Danilo De Luca.
And this team has said it's really going to go on the attack in the mountains. I don't think De Luca has the form to contend for the overall, but if they're going to be aggressive, he has the form to make it difficult for other riders. And one of those that he wants to put on the really in the pain cave, so to speak, is Armstrong. He said that. He says, I want to show Lance that he doesn't have what he used to have.
Now, speaking of Lance, because he broke his collarbone back at the Castilla-Leon race not too long ago, he says he doesn't have the form to go for the overall. He'll try to win a stage somewhere along the line as we see the Milram team getting ready to come up towards the finish. So Lance is going to ride for Levi Leipheimer, but do you expect Lance to ride the entire Giro? You think he might pull out at some point and turn his attention to the Tour de France maybe?
That's a very interesting proposition. I think he's going to do this whole race. I think that what's going to end up happening is he's going to ride for Levi the whole way through. They really have struck a bond, it seems, this year, and he's really been instrumental in Levi's success. I think he's going to go all the way.
I want a definitive answer. No on the fence with that. Give me the exact reasoning. What's going to happen?
He's going to stay in.
All right, there you go. Now here comes the Milram team now, and the place is going by. The Cervelo test team, the next one in sight, and they're going to be close to that, and it looks like now they'll finish 7th. So Milram, the German team, 49 seconds off the pace of Columbia High Road as they cross the line. Again, watch for their sprinter, Robert Forster, in the next few days and in the opportunities for the sprinters throughout the next 3 weeks. This is back to the Astana team, the view from behind here. Now, talking about this Astana team, it was just a few weeks ago that defending Giro champion Alberto Contador won the Tour of the Basque Country, showing his good form in a very hilly race in northern Spain. He is now not back to defend his Maglia Rosa at the Giro. He's at home watching this race and also training. He says he's spending some time in the Pyrenees. Later, he'll go and scout the Alpine stages of this year's Tour de France before racing in the Dauphiné Libéré in early June. But Contador has said his sole focus this season is the Tour de France. And trying to pick up where he left off, of course, he was excluded from last year's race. He won the year before in 2007.
That's quite a frisbee they give him there for his head.
Now the traditional Basque beret. So Contador showing good form, took a small vacation before he has resumed his training for the Tour. Now back to his Astana team that, without him, is looking to put Levi Leipheimer on the top step of the podium now.
You know, back to the Lance question, here's the big question. After he finishes the Giro d'Italia, can he actually get recovered and be strong for the Tour de France? He's coming from 3 years away from competition, and you look at that and you thrust yourself into this level of competition with a body that hasn't been trained to that level for those 3 years. That's going to be really tough on Lance.
Well, Lance also had a very meticulous program leading up to the Tour de France every year. He didn't ride the Giro because May was a month of recon, going up over the mountain passes, studying the stages of the Tour de France. Everything was built around what would happen in the 3 weeks in July. So this is uncharted territory for Lance Armstrong in terms of how it will impact his effort and results in the Tour de France this year. Now the Lamprey team just about 21 minutes in. Again, the team of Damiano Cunego, who, as you mentioned earlier, has had more success recently in the one-day races. But what he's trying to do here this year is dispel that notion. Say, hey, I'm still a Grand Tour guy. I can still race over 3 weeks. I'm not just a one-day classics type of rider. So he's trying to prove a lot of people wrong this year in his home race.
Yeah, he wants to turn that table back around to really where he started with an explosive professional career back in 2004 when he won this race. He won 3 stages of it. He won about 15 races that year, and he was the #1 ranked rider in the world at a very young age. He hasn't been able to recapture that magic, but Lamprey here now driving hard to the line, and it looks like a very solid ride from them. Look at this. They are just outside of Columbia right now, but they still got a little ways to go. Looks like a good ride. Last year was a disaster. They lost almost 2 minutes.
Now Lamprey, clock ticking at 21:53. Now slipping behind the Garmin Slipstream team. Lamprey, let's also not forget the team of the Italian Marzio Brussein, who was on the podium in this race, 3rd last year behind Contador and Riccardo Rico. As they make the final turn, Lamprey now has a straight, flat run into the finish.
It's always nice to have 2 guys who can be a leader, and they certainly have that with this team. So if Cunego does not have what he needs, he has a backup there, another bullet in the chamber, if you will.
Now, a lot of teams at this year's Giro with multiple cards to play. It's one of the many interesting subplots as Lamprey will hit the finish line now. And this team in 7th place, 42 seconds back for the Lamprey squad.
A solid ride from them, really. I think they'll be pretty pleased with that because they're not known for their time trialing strength, and the team time trial certainly not their strong suit either.
Well, that just leaves us with 3 teams, Case d'Epargne, LPR Brakes, and Astana left to finish. You're looking down at the Astana team right now. And Yanni Brakovic is number 22, who's taking the pull at the front right now. Lance Armstrong wearing bib number 21. Chris Horner has 23. Levi Leipheimer 24 as we move through the field. Now the LPR Brakes team of Danilo De Luca. One to watch, though, just starting out in front of Astana. Again, the time gap's 5 minutes between each team. And now this is a squad that, of course, has De Luca, but a couple of years ago when De Luca won the Giro in the team time trial that opened up the Giro, it was actually his teammate who pipped him at the finish line, and he took the leader's jersey. De Luca was not happy, but overall it didn't make a difference in the end as De Luca won the Grand Tour. But it's one of those interesting elements that happens because more often than not, it's the team director who decides, okay, this is who's going to be the first man across, and as a result, he, if the team should win, would be the man who takes the overall leader's jersey.
Yeah, it's really a tough situation because, for instance, last year when Garmin won, Zabriskie said, oh, he wanted Van de Velde to get across the line first, but Van de Velde said, oh, it wasn't planned, and then Vaughters said it wasn't planned. So, you know, you don't want to lose that precious half a second at the end trying to juggle your riders if it's going to be really tight. And when you're going off early in the race like Columbia was or Garmin was, you know when you get to the finish line there are a lot of teams left to come up. Now if you're Astana and you're the last team off, you're already going to know, are we going to win this thing or not? And then you can, it takes some of the guesswork out. But you have to be careful about that because by trying to juggle who crosses the line first, you could inadvertently shoot yourself in the foot.
Now this is Astana once again, last team out on the course. And again, if you're just joining us, the start order of all the teams here today at the TTT determined by lottery. No specific standings or hierarchy was used to determine the formula, just a pure lottery. Astana drew the last slot, and if you were a rider, is that exactly where you'd want to go?
I think it would depend on the history of the area for wind, and we've heard reports that the wind tends to get worse during the day, and we've heard other reports that it tends to get better historically, but today it seems like the winds have been variable, so it doesn't seem like it's mattered. And if you're at the back, the nice thing is you do know everybody else's time split, and that's a benefit.
You see the rider pulling off, and one of the things that's crucial in the TTT is once you finish your pull, you pull off, and you, as quick as you can, get back in line because that's the way you move as aerodynamically as possible through the wind, not spending a lot of time outside of the pace line.
Yeah, it's Chechu Rubiera on the back there, one of the super domestiques, and certainly he's back with this powerhouse squad yet another year, and he's one of the men who does a lot of the damage for these guys. Popovic, number 27. Well, there's another man we've talked about for years in this sport, and they all seem to gather around to support Lance Armstrong.
Stepania now at 22 minutes in, and now looking for perhaps a top 5 finish here as the third to last team out there. Now David Arroyo, the Spaniard, their leader, coming into this race, as is Joaquin Rodriguez, two of the marquee names on this team, Rodriguez and Arroyo. Arroyo, in terms of numerically on the roster, getting the nod as the leader, but those two Spaniards on this Spanish team, the two most high-profile riders for the Stepania team at this year's Giro.
Yeah, it looks like they're well down in the standings, but Rodriguez is a man who really wants to see the mountains, and that's where he'll shine a little bit later on. Speaking about mountains, what about the long time trial in the Cinque Terre? That is going to be massive time separation in that individual time trial. We're going to see not 1 to 2 minutes like we're seeing in this team time trial. We're going to see 5 to 10 minutes in that individual time trial.
It's a 61-kilometer time trial coming up on stage number 12. Now back to the time check out on the course with 8K left to ride. Astana coming up. Team Columbia High Road going through at 13:29, and Astana will go outside of that as they come through. And watching the LPR breaks time next, and Astana 6 seconds.
Oh. So they're looking good. They're looking very smooth, as Astana seems to have that magic once again here. Armstrong back on the team with Levi, with Horner, with Popovic, with Rubiera. It is really a Brakovic. I mean, it's an all-star cast. There's no doubt about it.
Now, a lot of teams, as we have seen, losing time on the second half of this course. As you look at Lance Armstrong, number 21 there on the back, moving up slightly into the second to last position in the pace line. But in terms of the features of the course itself, the second half, no more difficult than the first. It's almost all flat and very few turns overall on this course, just a handful, as the LPR Brakes team now will make their way towards the finish. And it's Columbia High Road still holding on. 2150 has stood up since the start. High Road, the first team down the start ramp. They were led across the line by Mark Cavendish. And as things are right now, if they can hang on for a few more minutes, he'll wear the first pink jersey of this year's Giro.
An incredible, incredible ride for the Columbia High Road squad. Yes, we knew they were going to be good, but I really thought that Garmin was going to get the better of them today. It shows just how focused they were and how strong they were today. And LPR, no way to unseat them. It's really looking like there's only one team left that has a shot, and that's Astana.
Well, they're the last team out on the course, so officially they are the only team now that can beat Columbia High Road, as LPR Brakes has already gone outside of the best time now. Still a little ways to go into the finish line, looking around, seeing who's going to cross the line first. Again, time taken on the fifth rider, and LPR Brakes will stop the clock 22 seconds back. So Astana, the only team now that can stop Columbia High Road from winning the team time trial in Venice.
Hi, I'm John Scher, CEO and founder of Video Professor. I'm the guy that gives away the free computer learning lessons. Well, today I'm here to tell you about a great new product that many of you have been asking for. And here it is, how to buy and sell on eBay, and I'll give it to you free. Now, I'm not going to tell you that I can make you the next millionaire selling an attic full of baseball cards, but I can guarantee you that I'll teach you everything you need to know about eBay while cleaning out your garage and probably putting some money in your pocket at the same time. Now, I can do this because I know that once you try my lesson on eBay, you'll be so satisfied that the next time you need to learn anything about computers, you'll come back to Video Professor for all your computer learning needs. And with over 55 lessons on all of today's most popular computer programs, I know that there's more you'll want to learn. Call now and I'll send you eBay or any other lesson of your choice free. So what do you got to lose? Try my product.
Call 1-800-771-8343. That's 1-800-771-8343.
Follow Lance Armstrong every day on the Giro d'Italia. Only on Universal Sports. We believe in cycling.
And away we go.
You've got to be happy with the performance by this team today. That was beautiful. Wow.
This is going to be a star-studded affair.
She's got it! Listen to this huge crowd. He's going to have enough for his first World Championship goal.
Universal Sports, home of world champions.
Personal foul? Inactive activities on a glorious day. Huh? Let's get out there and play!
Sweet.
Ooh, freeze!
When do I get to be in?
Uh-oh. Hey, Reggie, frozen people can't talk.
PLA.
An hour a day.
I'm in. There are lots of great play ideas online, but don't stay too long.
It was late March, stage 1 of the Vuelta Castilla y León race in Spain. Lance Armstrong was caught in a crash. He broke his collarbone, had surgery just a few days later. They had to put in a plate and these screws, as you see from the Twitter photos that he posted himself on his site. And this is what really set back his preparation for his first ever appearance at the Giro d'Italia. There he is with bib number 21. He's coming off a preparatory race in New Mexico, the Tour of the Gila, a week ago. But he says he just doesn't have the condition now because of that collarbone setback. But before that, before he had the crash and the organizers of the Giro knew he was coming, there's wide speculation. They put in that long time trial that we've talked about, 61K on stage 12, specifically to help Lance win the Giro. Not a lot of people have disputed that, but now things have obviously changed with the injury.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough, tough day for Armstrong in a time trial of that length. As we've seen, he just doesn't quite have that magic that he's had in the past. It's no surprise. The guy hasn't been racing for 3 years, but this is a tough, tough job for him to try and do any type of contention here. And I think he's probably a little bit relieved that he's got Levi in this race so that he actually doesn't have to be the man who carries the torch for his team. If he was in the hot seat right now for the team, it'd be a really tough 3 weeks on Lance.
It looks like they still have 7 guys. The Astana team, the last of 22 teams on the road today in this team time trial that opens up the 100th anniversary edition of the Giro d'Italia. Lance taking a turn on the front here. Now dropping off the pace as Astana, the only team now that can beat Columbia High Road with a time of 21:50. They were the first team down the start ramp. They've held the best time ever since. Levi Leipheimer in there, number 24. He's the team leader of Astana here at this year's Giro. And a close-up of Lance as he works his way to the back of the train.
And you notice Lance has that slightly different helmet than the rest in the black and yellow colors of the Live Strong colors. And so he's the only one with that color helmet. That's one way to pick him out here today. And also, I've noticed, very interestingly, nobody on this team wearing a national time trial champions jersey. So no reigning national champions in the time trial discipline on this team. Kind of amazing.
Now the Astana boys have things lined up as they get close to the finish. Now 20 minutes into their ride. Again, 21:50, the time of Columbia High Road here, as they proceed on this Lido island in the beautiful city of Venice. The starting point for the 92nd ever Giro d'Italia here this year. And this year's route, by the way, will visit all of the major Italian cities. It's a gorgeous way to see the country before ending in Rome on May the 31st. And again, there you see Columbia High Road 21:50, and Team Astana now putting in a good ride, but there's still a ways to go here. It looks like they just went inside of a kilometer left to race.
It looks like they're not quite going to have what they need to unseat Columbia High Road. We'll wait and see, as it's still 900 meters. It's going to be close, as these guys definitely looking very, very solid still.
Well, now the question is, who will be first across the line? They still have a chance to get the victory here, so who's going to cross first, do you think?
Well, you would hope it would be Levi, but you gotta juggle that just right when you get to the line, because you can't lose any precious seconds.
Boy, and they can't afford to lose any time here. It looks like Levi is on the front right now. Levi Leipheimer leading Astana into the final corner on the course here. Then it's flat and straight all the way to the finish.
Oh, this is going to be very close, Steve, as these guys into the final couple hundred meters, actually 300 meters to go. They still have 10 seconds.
Oh, it's going to be very close here now. Levi Leipheimer really trying to dig. There's Armstrong on the outside, coming up on the left of his team here, but they're not going to be able to do it. They're going to go outside of the time of Columbia High Road. Where will Astana finish now? Garmin Slipstream second. Astana is beyond that. Lance Armstrong out of the saddle to lead his team across the line. Astana stopping the clock 13 seconds back, a time of 22:03. So Columbia High Road goes wire to wire. They win the team time trial, and that means Mark Cavendish wears the first pink jersey of the Giro d'Italia.
Phenomenal ride here for Astana. Last year they won 29 seconds, or they lost 29 seconds to Slipstream. And this year they almost took the win, but they slotted themselves into third. A great performance from this squad. I think this is going to be the team to beat in this race overall.
13 seconds back of Columbia High Road. Astana in the first day back on the Grand Tour circuit for Lance Armstrong at 37 years of age. No doubt feeling the efforts. Welcome back to the big stage, Lance. And we will hear from Armstrong as well as Levi Leipheimer as we continue from the Giro on Universal Sports.
To enjoy lifelike, room-filling sound, you used to need large, complicated equipment. Not with the Bose Wave music system. It's barely noticeable in your room until you turn it on.
You can hear everything, and it's just amazing that all that sound comes out of that little space.
The sound quality was just phenomenal.
Once you've heard it, everything else just doesn't measure up.
Forbes FYI reports you'll think you're listening to a system that costs 5 times more. And now also available in titanium silver. There's no towering rack of equipment, no tangle of wires, no rows of buttons and dials. The Wave music system sets up in minutes, and it's simple to use. But wait until you hear it.
I'll never forget it. I'll never forget the sound.
It's magic.
Inside, Bose acoustic waveguide speaker technology delivers a room full of natural sound. Just slide in your favorite CD or listen to FM or AM.
The fact that this thing picks up the crisp highs as well as the deep lows was very impressive to me.
Even connect your MP3 player or TV and enjoy it with Bose sound.
It puts out the same sound without all the contraptions and the size of the old-fashioned stereos.
How could that be?
The Wave music system is now available in titanium silver. Add our optional multi-CD changer for even more enjoyment.
It took me all of about 3 minutes to make the decision.
So call today and ask about making 12 easy payments with no interest charges from Bose. Order now for free shipping. Enjoy premium Bose sound risk-free for 30 days and hear what you've been missing. If you want a room full of sound without a room full of equipment, get the Wave music system. Now also available in titanium silver. From Bose, the most respected name in sound.
And when that comes on, we just start dancing.
No matter what we're doing.
Suffered major injuries, wheel accident. Our whole family was devastated. The insurance company denied liability. We hired Brian Moore. He helped us recover $1 million.
Hi, I'm attorney Brian Moore. I'm a former judge, and I've been fighting insurance companies all my life, and they don't frighten me.
We're sure glad we called Brian.
There's a magic place. A place where the West lives. I have seen it. That spirit lives here, and I hope it never goes away.
Visit roadtripwyoming.com for your free vacation guide. Wyoming, forever West.
The Boston, Chicago, New York, and London Marathon.
Now it's just going to come down to that sprint finish. Unbelievable.
Right here on Universal Sports.
Two Americans from the Astana team, both bouncing back from injuries and crashes at two Spanish races recently. Lance Armstrong on your left, Chris Horner on the right. As Astana finishes this team time trial 13 seconds off the pace of the winning team, Columbia High Road. As Lance returns to Grand Tour racing, making his first ever appearance at the Giro. And Columbia, as the first team out on the course today, was led across the line by their sprinter Mark Cavendish. A terrific ride today with a time of 21:50. So Columbia High Road didn't have splits to work with, but they didn't need them as they hang on by 6 seconds to beat out Garmin Slipstream, last year's winner of the TTT. Astana takes third, LPR breaks fourth, and ISD 27 seconds back. They round out the top 5. So that means that Columbia High Road will put Mark Cavendish in the first Maglia Rosa. Well, Lance Armstrong still the focus of attention, and we heard from him just as the stage ended.
I felt all right for an old man. You know, I love that event, and it's always been one of my favorites ever since I was a junior doing the World Championships in Moscow. It was an event that I always did throughout my career, so I like it.
Maybe the wind changed in the second part of the race. Do you think it conditioned the result?
Yeah, if the wind picked up, of course, it changes the result, but there's no way to measure that in fact, and that's cycling, you know. I mean, I think we talked earlier, you know, if you start early and it's raining and you start late and it's dry, then that's life, and so, you know, can't do anything about it, but we did our best, and like I said, we're happy.
Lance, can you talk about first Giro d'Italia? What's going through your mind today out there racing?
Good. It was a good feeling. I mean, it's nice to be on the starting ramp, and nice to be with the guys, and you know, I'm having fun. I was having fun in the early season. I'm having fun today, and we're going to continue to have fun. So, you know, it's a win-win for me. And we'll just keep it up and see how it goes.
Well, Lance figures to be working for his teammate Levi Leipheimer, who Astana believes can win the Giro d'Italia this year. He's been riding so well. 3 stage wins already this season. He's on terrific form, and we also spoke with Levi just as the TTT came to a close.
Well, the team time trial is definitely one of the most beautiful events in cycling. You know, to see 9 guys going at full speed with all the equipment and the skin suits and the helmets. You know, it's always been a spectacle and a great event. So, and when it goes well like this, it's a lot of fun as well. And I think we did really well, considering that first and second place, they had special training for this for the last couple of weeks, and you know, Chris and Lance and I, we just got here on Monday, so we're still getting over a little bit of jet lag, but it was a lot of fun. We were going fast, and it was very smooth, and I think we're all really happy.
Now, I think you're the designated GC guy for this race, right?
Well, that's what everyone seems to be saying, yeah.
Okay, and yes, no? Are you?
Well, I mean, I'm certainly going to, you know, try my best, and we'll take it day by day, and I'm feeling pretty good, and I've got a good record going this year, so I'd like to keep it going, but I certainly rate probably 5 or 6 other riders ahead of me for the overall, you know, Italian riders that know the Giro in and out. This is only my second Giro, and we have to sort of play the underdogs and be conservative and take it day by day.
At least you're not riding for Noah Johnny's this week.
Oh, that was a lot of fun, you know, I mean, wouldn't mind doing that again. We had a great time in Gila. I think we sort of got our mojo there, and we're going to try to carry that through the Giro.
What's the team strategy for the new season? Where's this lead going?
You know, for me and I think for a lot of the guys, we're just taking it race by race and we're having fun, and I think everyone's really relaxed and it's coming through in the results, so we'll see. But you know, obviously the Tour de France is the biggest race in cycling and it's a big goal for us, so we'll be targeting that in July.
But first comes this month.
Oh, definitely, yeah. We're here in Italy, and the Giro is every bit as big a race as the Tour de France. I mean, the Tifosi, the Italian fans are fantastic, and every little village we ride through is decorated in pink, and there's pink confetti everywhere, and it's just a big party, and it's electrifying to be part of that.
It kind of looks like Lance skated the bullet with the collar, but he seems to be riding strong. What's your assessment?
He was definitely very good today. I'm impressed. I think the Gila last week was great training for all of us. It was a race that, you know, the stages weren't very long. It wasn't too hard. It was at altitude. So I think that it was, in the end, it was the right thing to do. It was great training for this race.
Tomorrow's stage, what's your projection?
Well, I think the right person has the jersey, so they're going to try to control it and go for a field sprint. And, you know, Cavendish will certainly want to keep the jersey, and that means he has to win the stage. So I don't think you could have scripted it any better for Columbia. Hats off to them.
And you wait till the mountains to make your move.
Oh, definitely. I think even the first mountain stages, we're just going to have to wait and see who's strong and let some other teams take control of the race. It's a long race. It's 3 weeks, and the third week is very difficult.
Todd Gogulski, what do you think of Levi's chances for the overall?
I rate him a lot higher than he does. He says 4 or 5 guys he thinks have a better chance than him, and he says they're Italians. Well, I think that's true that the Italians do very well in this race historically, but I think he's being modest. I would put him up there with 2 other guys, DeLuca and Basso.
Now, Team Columbia High Road wins the team time trial to open up the Giro d'Italia in Venice. Mark Cavendish will wear the first Maglia Rosa of this year's race. Tomorrow, stage 2, 97 miles to the town of Trieste. We will see you then. In the meantime, for Todd Gogulski and all of us at Universal Sports, I am Steve Schlanger. Thanks for joining us for stage 1 of the Giro d'Italia. We'll see you for the next 3 weeks from the first Grand Tour of the season.
When it